and welcome to this edition of Nights Around the Fire. I'm glad you can join us today. I'm here with Ashlee Hamilton, one of our researchers, and today's topic is...
moon landing.
That's right, the moon landing. And we're talking about the very first one. We're going to talk about the first one. That was the July 20th, 1969 landing of Apollo 11?
Yes, with Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins.
Right. Now, of course, this was 50 years ago, just about here. And since then, really, there's been a lot of controversy about, did we really land on the moon? And we can break this down, Ashlee, to, did we land on the moon the first time and then got there the next 5 times? Because they said there's 6, right?
Yeah, it's supposedly 6 times we've been there, from 1968 to 1972.
There's a lot of them within a short time.
Mm-hmm.
How many have we had since?
None. At least no people. We've sent rovers, I believe, but no human being.
I wonder why that is. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about the conspiracy surrounding this particular event.
Mm-hmm.
And many people, of course, will believe no matter what, that the United States landed on the moon and that we were the first. And as Ashlee and I had our pre-show, we talked a little bit about the Russians who kind of started this off because they shot up the first satellite, Sputnik 1. I believe it was in 1957, October 4th, and that sort of set off the space race.
Well, also, President Kennedy had made, in a sense, a deadline of when he wanted to go.
That's true. He did. What was the line? I think we have it here.
We chose to go to the moon not because it's easy, but because it's hard.
And apparently it is hard. Now...
so hard we can't go back.
Yeah, so hard that we can't do it again.
We can't do it.
It's like, where did all the data go? That was the theory, right?
It's lost.
They lost a lot of the data, the telemetry, a lot of the things that you would think that would be easier today with computing power that's more than a phone. Actually, what they used in the first launches and landings was a computer that was a million times less powerful than your phone. Keep that in mind. Okay? So before we even get started, we're going to kind of give you our opinions a little bit here. So I think maybe, Ashlee, you think that maybe this was exaggerated, maybe?
I'm not saying I believe it's 100% a hoax, but I wouldn't doubt it. If it were to come out and, everybody would say, oh, it was faked, I'd be like, yeah, I could see it. But
right.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, as a current and former conspiracy theorists, me.
Bigfoot.
That's right. Ashlee is going to get one. She will. But, yeah, having been a guy that's been involved with this, I never really believed the landing was real. But interestingly enough, in the last maybe 10 or 12 years or so, the internet's being scrubbed of a lot of the pushback against the landing. They've come up with more and more arguments against some of the things conspiracy theorists have said prove there wasn't one. We're going to go over a little bit of that today, but I think from the very first, Ashlee, a guy named Bill Casing, this was the guy that first started the conspiracy theory before the launch, before NASA actually decided to go into the moon program. And he's pretty much said that he thought that it was all going to fail, that the engineering wasn't there. He had top secret documents from a company he worked for, which was Rocketdyne. He was the head technical person for their publications, and he said that there's no way. Again, we don't know what he really had.
Yeah, we have no idea. There was also Virgil Grissom, I believe is his name. I think he was an astronaut, right? And there was it was a team of 3. He was supposedly making comments here and there of how he just did not believe we had the technology to be able to make it to the moon and back without fail. And just so happens he ended up dead.
Just so happens.
Just so happens. Coincidentally, it was a tragic accident.
Sorry, Virgil, but we have some covering up here to do. Now, there's a lot to this. And Ashlee, I think as we talked in the pre-show here, there's a lot to going to the moon, and a lot of basically the science behind it is not really clear, because they went up in a tin can. Now, folks, we're not saying this to be funny. This was a tin can with very limited technology. Rocket technology is old. I mean, the Germans were building rockets in World War II. So the technology for shooting rockets on the air just became more consistent, although we've had some issues. But the actual getting around and going to the moon, however many 100,000 miles it is a whole nother story.
Getting past was the Van Allen's radiation belt.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think it just seems very coincidental, again, that we had never been able to get past it before, at least with human life. I don't even know if they really tested it with human life.
I don't think they did.
But we just so happens, the very first time that we try, we get there and back without any problems whatsoever. And I had read, and I can't remember if it was NASA that was quoting it as an example, but I don't believe it was. Somebody said it was like walking or running on hot coals, whereas if you stay there, your feet are going to get burned. But if you run at a good distance, at a fast distance, you won't burn the bottoms of your feet. And when I was reading that, I thought how dumb that analogy is, because if me, myself, has never run on hot coals before, goes to decide, I'm going to run through this, my feet are going to get burned, and probably more of me, because I'd probably fall into the hot coals. But if it was something that I were to do over and over and over again, and I build calluses on my feet and I get used to that temperature change, then I eventually won't burn the bottom of my feet, but not the very first time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I did also read that they said, yeah, they sped it up. It got faster there to get through that. Okay, maybe. Listen, folks, maybe that's true. I'm not a physicist. I don't claim to be. I sit in front of a camera and talk to you nice people with Ashlee. Isn't that nice? By the way, while we're here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We appreciate you. Say that from Sue as well. Thank you for watching. So, Ashlee, maybe there's more to this, because it isn't just the radiation. Many people have talked about there's millions of basically debris, little tiny meteorites that fly through the solar system constantly. And of course, it does that between Earth and the moon as well. Mm-hmm. But not one thing ever touched that capsule or any of the 6. Now, maybe they're, again, lucky. But keep in mind, one of these would be catastrophic, because these capsules aren't designed for getting holes placed in them, I'm sure. And
could you imagine how fast the meteors would be going anyways to create any craters?
Be like a bullet going through it. And the funny thing is, when you watch science fiction shows, you'll see them going through debris fields. And of course, they have special metal or maybe shields, all this science fiction stuff to protect them. But our astronauts didn't. There was a lot of questions about that. So what you're thinking is that just getting there was a pretty big issue. I mean, before even getting to the moon, just getting there.
Yep. Another big thing is, you mentioned even with, the craters and the meteorites and everything like that. So when they supposedly got to the moon, they were calm enough to be able to set up cameras and take pictures, and those pictures come out absolutely pristine. Beautiful, clear pictures. They weren't shaking whatsoever. They weren't grainy whatsoever, which, cameras back in 1960, 1970, they're not the cameras that we have today. There was a lot of grain in them. And they just happened to get these beautiful pictures. They're not cinematographers. They're not photographers. They're not any of that. And then in those pictures, there's a lot of controversy, because you see one of the rocket, but there's no crater from them landing. There's no dust. Everything's perfectly clear. And then there's one famous one of the reflection in his helmet where you don't see a camera at all. And they said, oh, well, it's just the angle where he's at. You just don't happen to see it. But if you look at pictures, the camera is, I think, like this far out from his spacesuit,
It's
probably
touched.
more.
It doesn't move.
And it doesn't move. So if he's at an angle, you would see the camera. You would see some type of shadow. And I saw somebody else said, which I don't necessarily agree with this one because it's kind of up for debate, but there's things in the background where they just can't explain what it is. And they're like, oh, it looks like a wire. Well, it's not really clear enough, zoomed in that far to tell. And they said they think it's a strobe light hanging from the ceiling. And it's like, well.
You know, this is coming from Ashlee, who is a photographer, by the way. And there has been a lot of questions over the years about how perfectly framed they were. And as you know, as a photographer, when you're taking a picture, things want to be even. You want to have it even balanced out somehow, the lighting balanced, and of course these were perfect. And my understanding, and I didn't research this, folks, so here I go. Roll those dice. I researched that they took more pictures than was possible in the amount of time they had. So once again, I think they used a Hasselblad. I had a Hasselblad when I was in college. It was basically a bigger frame camera, and I forget what film they used. But the other problem that comes up was that this film can't handle the pressures within space. You have to have pressures. There's no pressure on the moon. There's no pressure in the capsule. And they said that this probably would have destroyed the film. Once again, I'm not a physicist. I'm not an expert on the science behind these things. But again, this calls into question what really happened here. Now, again, let's go back, Ashlee, because the reality is that this was a big deal for America. Mm-hmm. Huge. I don't think any of us realize it, because when you're sitting there and people looking up in space and all the big to-do about it, no one realized how this was a massive deal, not just for NASA, but for the United States. Mm-hmm. And they needed, like Ashlee said, John Kennedy, he set the bar high.
Yeah, he did. He set a deadline, and we just happened to make that deadline.
Right. Now, everybody says there's 4,000 people involved in this. How would you cover it up?
You off them, or, I think a lot of people are surprised. People can get away with a lot of money, and just the fact that they know more. And at that time, to be able to know that such a big secret, people would think, they would spill or accidentally slip up, and our government lies to us every day and doesn't slip up.
Right.
And doesn't do that. Is it
right.
really that hard?
And probably, and here's the other, it's called the silo effect, and not everybody was in the loop. You can send a rocket and you can do everything to a point. You can even send something towards the moon, I'm assuming, without people in it. But the people watching the telemetry and everything, they're just looking at numbers.
Yeah, so they wouldn't necessarily know. And if you're in one room and you may be looking at a big screen that shows, everything that's supposedly going on, they're left to believe that this actually happened and they were a part of it. And so they don't have anything to hide because they are under the impression that it did happen.
Right. This is a mystery within a mystery, because ultimately we weren't there. And ultimately, all the things we believe are wrong, they're now trying to debunk. Or should I say NASA is. They never have all the answers, though. When it comes down to, and I think I wrote here, there was another guy, and I want to kind of mention him, Marcus Allen, British publisher of a magazine called Nexus. It's more of a conspiracy theory magazine with alternative politics, science, and history. He questioned NASA's engineering. Now, he believed the Apollo program was a complete hoax for the American space program, so he believed it was a hoax from the start, the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Again, there's billions and billions of dollars into this research and into building rockets and doing things. The problem is, and this may be the part of it, where'd all that money go since we landed on the moon a second time? The space shuttles, they used the same space shuttles. What was that doing? We don't even use them anymore. What was that even about?
I have no idea.
We sent people up into the space shuttle, and they're, what experiments are they doing? And that's what they tell you.
Well, they supposedly collected moon rocks as well. Did you read that?
No.
They gave, it was, I think, a Dutch president or king or whoever. They gave them, these moon rocks. And then they did testing on them, and here it was just petrified wood. And there was no explanation given onto why they were given that or anything. It's like, oh.
That's interesting. I got a piece of petrified wood. Somebody built a shack up on the moon, and this just after years collapsed, and this is what they gave me.
Well, it was proven, I believe, that it's never been in outer space or anything. It was just old petrified wood.
So we got really two stories here. We got the story of Apollo 11. The very first time we went into space and into the moon, towards the moon, and landed on the moon. And then we have the other 5. Do you think it's possible that the other 5 were really accomplished, that they actually landed on the moon, figured it out after that time, worked out the bugs? And maybe you're right. They got through. They skirted through the Van Allen basically radiation belt. They're okay. They were able to successfully land on the moon. And to Ashlee's point about the crater, they started telling us now that the reason there's no craters, they cut the power down so low and they dropped. It came onto the Earth, and it just had a slight little brown stuff and threw some dust around. No, there was no dust on the landing pads, the actual legs. They show these little black spots. I don't know if those were there before. Those photos have been looked at by thousands of people for 50 years, and all of a sudden now they found that they come up with the point that, oh, these are dust spots that were burnt from the engine thruster. They say that now. Why didn't they say that 20 years ago when this first came up? Then they said they sent basically satellites over the moon, 10 miles up. And they said, well, these are where the 6 basically lunar landing pods are stationed and this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, and the one guy said, that's like 2 pixels. What they showed, and they didn't get any closer. And remember, these are high-def cameras. You could have got closer, I'm sure. I mean, showed me the landing. They didn't. It was like a little pixel, and of course those can be, as you would know, those can be very easily distorted. Yeah, or just fake it later.
Well, there was a crater in a picture that a lot of people pointed out, and when you zoomed, it's a perfect capital C, like just a perfectly carved capital C, and people question where did that come from? Did the astronauts while they were down there start carving things? Like, why is it there? So a lot of people think it's a set in pictures and that it may have been, those things, but they're very confused of why there isn't any reasoning behind all that.
I don't think there's reason, and that's probably some of the Stanley Kubrick conspiracy. As many of you know, Stanley Kubrick, if I can pronounce my English correctly, a famous American filmmaker. And he's done a lot of, and of course one of the big videos he did was The Shining that many of you would know. He placed a lot of, you would say Easter eggs in many of his movies that reflected back to the moon landing. The famous one in The Shining was a little boy riding his bike before the twins showed up and has a NASA shirt on. Interesting. Many
has
people
an Apollo 11 shirt on.
Apollo 11. Now, Kubrick was a brilliant director, and they said he was the one that directed these films of the moon landing, from some studio somewhere. Now, interestingly enough, as I told Ashlee, there was a movie back in the 80s, I believe it was the 80s, called Capricorn 1. I watched it one time, and I always say, I'm going to watch that again. I never do. But it's about a Mars landing. And last minute, they said, we're not going to launch. We can't. It won't work. They realized it's not going to work, so they pulled it and they faked it in a TV studio. Big one. The 3 astronauts were a little upset, and we're going to squeal. What do you think happened to those astronauts, Ashlee?
They probably died.
Yep. And of course, it was about one trying to get away. and they were basically sent out everybody they could to kill him, as you said. Funny that many believe this is sort of just a placing Mars in with the moon, because I don't believe we're ever going to go to Mars. I don't believe we can.
I don't even know, the heat alone from Mars would be astronomical. And how would they deal with all of that?
The spacesuits they had back in Apollo 11. And there were some questions about these spacesuits. Can they handle the extreme heat that's on the moon? And, of course, they're pressurized. And one guy did an experiment with a glove, an original glove, and he put the glove in a box, sealed off box, and he was doing this. You can work with it. You can do the camera thing like Ashlee does. And then he took all the air out and pressurized it. Couldn't move his glove. Couldn't move it. He couldn't move it at all. Now, NASA came up with some reason of it, but the truth is, these are extreme circumstances. You don't know what you're going to get there till you actually land and see how the heat and the lack of gravity and, of course, the lack of an atmosphere affects everything you do. Again, we're not saying that everything's a lie. We're questioning it.
Yeah, that's what we're not claiming it never happened or anything like that. We're just simply pointing out facts of why people don't believe it and why we might not believe it, or just put it into question of why did it take so long to get answers, or why have we still not gotten answers? Why are there so many coincidences that explain these big major things like the lost footage? It's just like, really? Like, this was the biggest event in probably American history since it became America, and we just happened to lose it.
Possibly in human history here, as far as the things that man has done. That's a big deal, going to another planet. But having said all that, we look at what's happening now, it's even more confusing, because as we mentioned, they want to go to Mars. Elon Musk, NASA. And I will make this story. I just told Ashlee this. Did I? Yes. It's about basically a NASA astronaut on NASA TV talking about going to Mars. And he said, well, our problem's going to be getting through as Ashlee mentioned, the Van Allen radiation belt. He said the problem is that can fry our electronics and be damaging to human tissue. He said, so we're going to have to build a ship that can protect us from these deadly rays. So the question then rises, why don't you just do what you did
the first time, and the second time, and the
in
third
a tin
time?
Can. Yeah, and all 6 times. What did you do then? And you have 10 times, literally 1,000 times the technology. Maybe more.
Yeah.
Again, this is a question. Why would they even bring it up? Why would NASA even say that if they've already done it? Of course, again, they lost all the data. Where did that go?
It's just all too convenient for my liking.
I know many of you are going, what do you mean they lost the data? Ashlee, tell them.
So they supposedly lost all of the data in a film room, and they couldn't find it. Then they supposedly found it, but it was damaged by some type of magnet that was there. It was magnetized, so all of it was deleted. So they had to go and they had to alter it and to bring it all back. And now, the convenient thing is, if someone were to actually sit there and go through and study it and point out all of the things that are altered, they can easily explain it now as, well, we had to alter it to bring it back and to make it work.
We filled in the blanks. Yep. And this includes the telemetry. This includes the actual launch data. They said, we can't go to the moon because we don't have the launch. Well, you have basically artificial intelligence computers that can do that math in like milliseconds. Once again, we're not here throwing down against somebody. Oh, maybe a little bit. But there's some questions. They can hide all the other issues we have with the film, the lighting, the crater.
The craters.
How they did things. You can argue, well, that's because of this, and there's people that have come out and tried to debunk our side, or Is it our side when we're questioning
Just
it?
a side.
A side.
A side that is not their side.
But there's more to it than this. And it comes today in modern day. We went and we had how many shuttles? I don't even know, and I don't care. There seemed like a shuttle being launched. These things were then scrapped. What were they doing? Was it the next big step? What have we done since the moon landing that has showed us that we can actually go to Mars or Jupiter or anywhere else? Zero. Ashlee, if you didn't see it, watch Ashlee's video with me on the Blue Origin flight. Once again, was a big deal. People are buying seats. What did it cost?
You could buy a seat for a deposit of $100,000 and it was fully refundable. Oops. And it was estimated, because it doesn't give the exact, that it's in between $2 to $4 million per seat.
Right. It doesn't show you what it is, but that's what she found was the estimate of it. So what are they doing? They're going into space technically for 7 seconds.
Well, they float for about 7 seconds.
They float for 7 seconds, which means you're out of the atmosphere into space.
Oh, wait, it might have been 2 minutes. I take that back. I think it was 2 minutes.
Okay, if it's 2 minutes, okay.
Because from launching to landing, I believe it was about 11 minutes, maybe almost 12 minutes.
So for the meager sum of $4 million, you two can launch, hit space for maybe 2 minutes, float, look at the Earth, and you come down in about 10 to 11 minutes total time.
Or you could go on, was it a Vomit Comet?
You go on a Vomit Comet.
And experience zero gravity for yourself.
I'm sure it's a lot less.
I'm sure.
We can't afford it, but
yeah, no, we probably couldn't.
But yeah, it's a lot less. So I guess what we're looking at here is, this is what it's down to: space rides. Space rides. I don't know that that's space. I told Ashlee, back in the day, people were buying rockets that go like a mile in the air from your backyard. You build them. They had kits. Build them. So what are we really doing here? We haven't gone past into space, technically, really into space, actually, since the moon landing.
Yeah, because we're all within a certain mileage.
Yeah, I mean, it's not in terms of going to the moon and back. Going to where we're going right now is not very far, with a pretty expensive rocket that's never changed. They use the same techniques. The rockets are the same. Alex von Braun, who was the creator of the modern rocket for the Nazis, the same design he did, they still use today. That was the 40s? Wait a minute. There's something off here. What isn't off is that the money's still being spent. Where's that going, Ash?
In some people's pockets, I assume.
This is part of the military-industrial complex, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Technically, NASA is.
Well, NASA, at least back then, it was a huge win for America to show other countries, just an intimidation tactic of, we have this technology. Don't mess with us. Yeah,
we're better than you. And we lost that. Because, Ashlee, you mentioned other countries have not even attempted.
That's what back in the 1960s, early 1970s, we were able to go, but just America. It wasn't any other country. And now, years and years later, their technology hasn't advanced enough to be able to go. It's only been America.
Interesting. And she's right. They do have the technology. China was talking about sending things to the moon. They have the technology to do it. I don't think it's men, because once again, why? We're going to get some money together, put Ashlee in the Mars program.
Yeah.
And we'll send her. To a new moon program. Would you go?
I probably not, but you would.
No, I would not.
Send you.
Thank you. She wants to get rid of me. She wants to send me to the moon and not back. But
I'd probably die just from the pull, the gravitational pull.
The
I just
G-forces.
the G-force. It would just crush my skull in general.
Well, no, but I guess what I guess what I'm saying here too is, so they drove a cart around, they cut some rocks. All the moon is just another rock made up of the same stuff that the Earth's made up of. Now, they said they were looking for water and these things and that things. Of course, now they have technology that will send to Mars, actually, that is remotes. They will go and pull samples up, I guess, or do readings. But it just seemed like a lot of money and a lot of hype to just drive a cart around and take pictures. And, of course, you don't see stars.
No, none of the pictures you see any stars, which a lot of people say that, there should have been stars in them. Why aren't there any stars? But a lot of people, like we talked in the Blue Origin, who have gone up at least that far into space have said that you can't see anything. It's just black. So I don't think that's necessarily a good explanation of why there's no stars. I
think what we talked about on our UFO program, and I think Sue brought this up, was William Shatner, who we talk about. I love William Shatner. He cracks me up. He's a good actor, but he played on the Star Trek series back in the original science fiction TV show that went on national TV. I mean, he's the first. And, of course, he's 90-something. He went to space on Blue Origin. Mm-hmm. And he told everybody that, space is black. He says, you look out, in his mind, it was like looking at death. And then looking back at the Earth, you saw life. And the reason they say you can't see stars is because we see them because our atmosphere filters out certain things. That's what I'm told, and because I wondered about that. So, okay, maybe that's true, and no one's disagreed with me in the science realm, so maybe that's true. But that would give me a little cause to want to, travel into space, but that's another story. Again, if you want to see Ashlee go, we can raise some money for her here.
We'll do a GoFundMe page.
We'll get you a GoFundMe page.
Send me up on Blue Origin.
Yeah, she could have went with all the other women. But the seventh woman out of the six. That would have been interesting. But by the way, again, like, subscribe, and share if you like what we're doing here. Put a comment in. See what you think.
What do you think? Is it a hoax? Is it not a hoax? What questions that maybe we didn't bring up, do you have for why you believe the way it is? And
we'd like to hear from you.
Any suggestions as well?
Right. Oh, and that's true. We are getting a lot of suggestions. People are, telling us physically they want certain topics, and there's a lot of them. And me and Ashlee and Sue, we meet once a month, and we try to go through these topics to see what people like you want to hear about. And so please let us know if you want Ashlee in particular to do one, or Sue, or all of us. We'll be more than happy to do that. These girls really do great research, and I appreciate them both. Don't forget, again, to like, subscribe, and share. If you want to email us, we do have an email. And, of course, Sue and I had the dumb look when we didn't remember what it was. Our email address is strangeworlds, that's with an S, 777 @yahoo.com. strangeworlds777 @yahoo.com.
Say, put it down below.
We'll put that down below. I'll do that because I won't remember either way. And don't forget, we do have a merch store. I'll have that in the description box as well. Go to that merch store. There's some merch. We're going to grow the...
I think that's on Etsy.
That's on Etsy. So you can reach it through my link there. There's... and I don't know if we have this shirt, but I think we do.
There are Bigfoot shirts on there, I believe. But
Bigfoot shirts. We have some with Lady in the Lake. That was a video we did. A lot of Lady in the Lake. We have our original shirts that you can get, Nights Around the Fire shirts. And we're going to put more up. We're going to have a little more different designs and different things. So take a look. Help us out and buy some stuff there. I'm sure you'll look great in it. And, of course, help promote the show here. So for those of you that live in this area, southwestern PA, we're going to be at the Frank Saris Public Library on August 2nd. We're going to have a Wham Bam big show. We're just going to talk to folks and, again, get your opinions and talk a little conspiracy, have a little fun. These are fun topics. We've been delving into crazy stuff for like centuries in this world. I mean, thousands of years, just mystery after mystery that many times no one really can solve. We think we do, but we don't. And so, again, we'd like to see you there if you can make it. It's going to be 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, August 2nd. I'd love to see you. You'd love to meet us all. I'm sure you'd rather meet Sue and Ashlee than me, but that's okay. I'll be there dressed to the hilt for your enjoyment. Okay, so let's get back to this, Ashlee. So seriously, what is your feeling about this? I mean, we've talked about this for a while, and we have. This is before we even had the channel. We've talked about weird things. What do you think?
I think there's a high possibility that it was faked.
Wow. She didn't even, pull the punch. She just went for the jugular. Okay.
And I think something that may have explained is we could have made it to the moon and back, but then everything else is faked. So, the film, the pictures, all of that kind of stuff.
That's a good point. We could have easily gotten there. I mean, even manned. Maybe they did get there, but they...
And even the radiation belt still is...
Right.
We can't explain that. We've obviously never been to space. We haven't done a whole lot of research on it of what it could possibly do, because at least to our knowledge, there hasn't been any. So there's a lot of things that put a lot of things into question.
There are, and that's the truth. And I think when we were talking about this, it was just the very fact that it's not so much what happened then, because, again, that's unclear to us. Actually, you weren't even born then.
Nope.
So
It wasn't even a thought.
it wasn't a thought. But a lot of people that saw it and went through it, it was a big deal. And I have a sister-in-law that even though I questioned some things, she would say, I don't care what you ever say, we were there. And it's a pride thing. Maybe so. Maybe so.
America can be very prideful as a country in general.
It is, and that's probably why, so many people have refused to even consider it. But we consider everything here because we're into conspiracies, well, to some degree. My personal thing, Ashlee, is, she just shot out and just slapped it down, and that was good. Myself being, a conspiracy guy, I kind of get a bad feeling about this especially the first landing. I think that according to many of the people who've written books or talked about it, and this is scientists as well, I think many people believe that it was too soon. They weren't ready. Like Capricorn 1, they went to the launch and they said, this isn't ready. And they had alternatives because I think they needed this win.
Yep.
And believe me, as Ashlee mentioned, how often does your country lie to you? I can't count the ways. Every day. So this is being, all things being equal, with the race with the Soviets, I think they would have done anything for a win.
Yeah. We gained bragging rights, political pressure, and intimidation.
Yeah.
All with just one fleet.
Right. I mean, let's face it. That set America's course in technology. And, of course, and this is how investment works, once people see a win, money pours into other industries that are related to that industry. That's how it works. This wasn't just, Rocketdyne, who helped build the rocket and all the thousands of suppliers of the materials and parts. It goes well beyond that. Research into colleges, how much money went from the government into colleges to research all this stuff. And there was great gains made by that for everybody. So it did help in a general sense. The money that pours into research is always good, and it always does kind of lead to something. But did they actually land there? And for what reason? I'm still confused over why that means anything to me. It really doesn't.
Yeah, and that's what it doesn't. We will never get an answer of yes and no. It just will never happen. One day when we're all dead and in Jesus' presence, we can ask him. But
did they go, Jesus? He goes, no.
But it doesn't affect our daily life.
It doesn't.
And if it is affecting your daily life, maybe you should go see somebody for that because it's not that big of a deal.
Get another hobby. There are a lot of people that really get hung up in conspiracy theories. There's plenty of them. And here on the show, that's kind of the idea. We want to kind of look at this and not be weighted down one way or the other. There's a lot of questions here. And even though NASA and others have tried to answer those questions, there's still more. And the bigger question is, what's the plan here? You're going to Mars. Are you? I went to the mission to Mars, and you were in Disney, right? Did you go to the mission to Mars?
I did.
Did you get sick?
I did not get sick.
I got sick.
Which after we went home, because I was like, that ride sounds so familiar. I realized we had gone on it, and Layla actually loved it. She thought it was so fun.
It's her niece, and yeah, she would.
At the time, she was 4.
Let me tell you, Gary Sinise was the guy you saw in the film. He talked, and he's a famous actor, well-known actor, and he played in the movie, a Disney movie, Mission to Mars. So, of course, they put him in there, and he's saying, we're going to help, we're going to do this, and they launch you, and you're going back, but you're not going up, you're going in a circle at high speed. Man, did I get sick.
Have you ever been on ones at the carnival that they spin and then eventually they kind of tip
I have
to the
in the
side
past.
and they go back? I've always loved them. They're scary to sit there and watch, but once you're on it, it's fine.
See, I'll get a headache and I don't do it. I bypass those rides. Give me a roller coaster. Give me Cedar Point. Give me 0 to 60 in 5 seconds and I'm happy. But spin me around, oh baby, I'm done. So as you can see, a little difference here. Spinner, non-spinner.
It just depends. If it's a ride like that, I'm perfectly fine. But if it's a roller coaster that's constantly flipping me upside down, I'll get real sick.
So you wouldn't go on the Phantom?
Nope.
That's basically a roller coaster, a steel roller coaster here in Pittsburgh at Kennywood Park, and
they have Steel City.
They have Steel City,
and I won't go on it because it goes so fast and there's so many flips and turns. I'd rather not puke and
dislocate your neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people do that here. Okay, so I guess we can close up in saying this, that there are a lot of questions here that we really can't answer. It's a very interesting topic, and it's an interesting discussion, especially around campfires. We are nights around the fire. And I'm going to lean with Ashlee. I'm suspicious of that first moon landing. And I'm not going to even get into the last 5 because once you do it once, who cares? I mean, it's sad. Don't get me wrong. It's sad. And then once you got into the other flights, I mean, it got more and more boring. And they've been saying they've been going to Mars for how long now?
I have no idea.
Decades. We're going to go to Mars. And I don't know that it even have a prototype of a rocket because I forget how long it would take to go to Mars. A long time. Well, what would you do when you get there? You're going to test for water? You're going to test for this? Do they want to terraform it?
I thought they did tests at least a while ago. I don't know if I was still in high school at the time. They did tests and supposedly found water or traces of water on Mars, which meant that there could have been life on Mars at one point.
Yeah, I remember that too. And I think if they feel there's water there, then they feel there was life there. Maybe so. Microbiology proves it, they claim. I'm not sure that there is. But again, I don't follow NASA and I don't follow these things because, quite frankly, it doesn't affect me. But what's the ultimate goal? Terraforming. If you've watched movies, like I've watched movies, science fiction movies, and they show the process of terraforming, that they created. That they created. Let me tell you, friends, the amount of money it would take to build the machinery needed and the technology needed to terraform a planet is unbelievable because that's how complex it seems. What you need to do and the energy needed. I don't see this being real for 1,000 years myself because how far has technology advanced? We have not gone anywhere else into space. So how far is that technology really advanced? They claim they have new engines, but you never hear about them after they
announce it.
They have more and more of their own TV shows on NASA talking about stuff. But this is the biggest conspiracy theory because I think this is all just baloney. I think they will never go to Mars, not in the next 5 lifetimes. And think, well, our planet, well, yeah, your planet is screwed up, true, but you screwed it up, and if you can't fix it, I don't know that going to Mars is the answer, unless you want to wear a spacesuit.
Yeah, building all of those rockets and then sending them off to space, how much is that emitting into our atmosphere that is then putting into all of the pollution and the damage, and then after they come back, what do they do with it?
Yeah, I mean,
like, do they destroy it? Do they reuse the parts? What do they do with all of that?
I think Elon Musk has a reusable rocket, but I'm not sure how big it is, and I'm not sure what it can carry, and I'm not sure how often it works well. I've seen films of it. I don't know. Once again,
you don't know.
We don't know. Now, the engineers that build that stuff, you never hear from them. You just hear from Elon. And he didn't build the rockets, by the way, just to let you know. I know people said he had the 3 major engineers. He didn't do any of the work on them. So just an FYI.
If he makes rockets as well as he makes Teslas, then we're all doomed.
Yeah, don't buy a Tesla because it might catch on fire. No Tesla for you?
No.
Okay, I think that's...
I want an old car that's like before 2016 that has on and off in the steering wheel and a radio, and that's about it.
You heard it here. Ashlee wants just a car before 2016. It has to have a steering wheel and tires.
I want the windows that roll down, that you have to manually roll down. Well, I always think about this. Like, if you were to go into a car accident and you're in the water and your car's sinking, how are you going to roll down your windows? You can't. There's no power.
You need the tool that breaks the window.
But if you don't have that,
you're
stuck inside your car because you can't open up the door because of all of the weight from the water.
No.
It's impossible to do that. So it's real easy to just crank down your window and just climb right out.
Okay, friends, I know what you're all thinking. David, if Ashlee gets a car, make sure you buy her the tool that breaks the window.
I supposedly have one on my keychain, but it's never been tested, so I don't know if it works or not.
They'll find Ashlee there. Window's not broken. I hit it 400 times. Well, just saying, that's probably true. I've never broken a window either like that. Not outwardly, but that's another story. Again, I'm glad you joined us today. Like, subscribe, and share. As we said, don't forget to look at our comment section right there, which you maybe want Ashlee to research, or Sue, or me, Ashlee or Sue. Make sure that you let us know if you like the channel, what you want to see different. Mm-hmm. I want to announce this. We are going to be doing some out-of-the-office work here. Okay? Out-of-the-office work. My stomach's growling. I'm definitely hungry. So we're going out of the office. Yeah. And we're going to do a little bit of a hunt in the woods of Pennsylvania. We're going up to the basically the Laurel Mountains. It's not far from here. We're going to do a little bit of a expedition. We're not going to actually camp over. Ashlee is still borderline on wanting to go, but we're going to talk her into it. We had a discussion yesterday at the Bubba's Burgers about making sure Ashlee went. We want everybody to go. We're going to have a group go. We're going to do some filming. We're going to talk, because a lot of people, when it comes to, like, say, Bigfoot, which is one of the topics we cover here, we know people have never really been into deep woods, deep forests. And I want to show people what it's like, and what it's like to maybe be there and try to search for a iconic figure like Bigfoot. And so we're going to do that. We're going to head out to quite a few different places, and we're going to film. I think Sue just bought a little camera.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to be doing some filming. We're going to do a little out of the office work. It gets to be fun to be away, and I'm sure you all like that. Once again, if you have an area or something in this southwestern PA area that you want us to take a look at, let us know.
Any mysteries in PA specifically?
Mysteries
that would
in
be
PA,
pretty cool.
and I know there's probably a lot of them. We might be able to go to Lake Lanier. No, I don't remember. We're probably going to go to Westmoreland County, and there is a lake up there we're going to take a look at. It was basically a lake that the state decided to flood a town and create a lake because they needed a dam, and the town is still under the water. it's interesting. We may be able to go up there. I think Sue knows somebody that knows somebody where it's at, because most likely if we drive up there and get lost in the woods, you may never see us again. We don't want to do that. But again, if you have an idea, let us know. Ashlee is a pretty good researcher. If you want her to do something in particular, again, hit us with strangeworld777@yahoo.com. I'll have a basically link there. Don't forget to hit our store.
Yep, our Etsy store.
Yes, a lot of stuff there. And if you have anything else you want, please give us a call. Let us know what's happening. We appreciate you. Anything else, Ashlee? Any final words?
Always question.
Brilliant. That is absolutely true. Always question. Because, believe me, it's easy to deceive folks, especially today as computers get more sophisticated. Deep fakes are very easy today. It's very easy to create a whole nother paradigm in life with computers. So don't forget, stay tuned for the next one. We do have a video in the can with Sue, basically, and we have an interview with a Bigfoot researcher, Doug Waller. That'll be out here soon. It was a nice interview. Look out for that. Look out for this. We'll see you next time right here on Nights Around the Fire. We got it right.
I went to say the Tomsic analysis again. I was like, nope, that's not it.
We got it right, folks. God bless you. See you next time.